Well, hello, Toreros, near and far, far and near. It is Wednesday, the 15th of December, 2021. And well, we're down to it. Just a few days to go before your final lit review comes to me via email. And I am certainly looking forward to them. This is kind of a reflective moment for me. Just want to kind of think back a bit on our semester together. Just a few housekeeping details are in order. First, please make sure that you are following in your formatting pages 61 through 67 in this little handy dandy guide right here. It's for student papers. It shows you, it's the 61 through 67 is the example of exactly how you're supposed to be handing this in. Okay, from the title page to the pagination, to the spacing, to the reference list, to in-text citations, all of those things, quotations and all that kind of stuff. So please, when you turn this in, make sure that it is as specified, okay? And don't forget, there is no running head there used to be running heads back there in the former editions, but there are no more running heads. So do not have a running head. And there's no introduction. Basically what you have is you have your title page, then you have the next page when your real narrative starts. It's the title of your lit review, and then there you go, you're off to the races. So just make sure that you're attending to those things in the APA publication manual. That'd be great. The other thing is course evaluations. Now, I know that you're busy. I know you have a lot of things going on, but I would really, really appreciate if you would take the time to fill out a course evaluation. It's as Uncle Leo in Seinfeld would say, as a personal favor to me. I don't know if you ever watched Seinfeld, but Uncle Leo was a hoot. So, I would really appreciate it, because as an adjunct, as a professor in general, you live and die by your course evaluations, how your students rate you, okay? And for an adjunct who, and wanting to continue to be an adjunct, okay, I'd really need the majority, if not all of you, to complete a course evaluation. I can't tell you what to put in the course evaluation. That's up to you, certainly, but I really just would like you to get them done sooner rather than later. It would be very much appreciated. Okay, great. So that being said, I actually have 3 questions for you. Okay, and in thinking back on the semester, and how you your overall experience and the things that you got out of this course, not just the lit review, okay, but that's important, okay, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But did you throughout this course become a better thinker? Do you feel like you became a better scholar? All right. Do you feel like your writing improved? Okay. And what was the third question? Better writing. And do you feel like you're more focused in your scholarly area of expertise? Okay. So if you can answer yes to, you're a better thinker and a better scholar, you can answer yes to you are a better writer. Okay, and I have seen improvement along the way. So I can assure you that yes, you have become better writers, and I think you've become better thinkers. You've got more clarity in your writing. I've kind of aided you in making suggestions in terms of edits, but your writing certainly has improved, and I hope you feel that your writing has improved. And I just hope that you're you feel like you feel like you're more focused in your area. And that's really, I was talking to one of our course mates, not just the past weekend, and we were talking about kind of the reason why you're doing a lit review and why you're doing a part A. Okay. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't, I made sure in my last email to you, I noted that I had already contacted all of your chairs or your academic advisors, letting them know that you would perhaps, hopefully, be contacting them to talk about the Part A, which is due on January 6th. Though that was another housekeeping matter, but throw it in here because it's just came up. So anyway, so we're talking about the lit review and the Part A, okay? And the reason, part of the thinking of having you all do, and everyone who came before you do a Part A, is to to show partly it's accountability, but also to show that you've got some kind of focus. Okay, that if you make it to that point after your coursework and you complete a Part A, it shows your chair, shows faculty, shows your potential committee members that, hey, you're serious and that you're gonna go on to finishing your PhD. I mean, there's a lot of places you can stop out along the way. I've seen lots of really smart people in my own program, really smart, really intellectual, but when it came to doing a lit review, when it came to dissertation proposal, when it came to oral qualifying exams, couldn't get it done. So, this is it. So at least if you get to this, you get to the lit review, which is the foundation of your Part A, and then you do the Part A, it shows your faculty that yes, you're serious and that you intend to continue on in the program. And that's really it's an important signal, not only to you, because it's one of the many steps you have to go through to get a doctorate. Okay, I mean, your coursework is one thing, Part A is another, dissertation proposal, and then dissertation, and then defense. But along the way, there's let's say those are the major kind of hurdles or major hoops you have to go through, but then there's just mini ones along the way as well. So consider the lit review, in what you do for this course as kind of one of the mini hoops, because really the main event at this point in time, for those of you who have to do Part A now, some of you don't, some of you've done it already, woo, and some of you will do it down the road a piece. But for those who need to do it now, okay, this is really the lit review is the formative piece for that, and we've talked about that innumerable times, right? So, so by doing the lit review, it's satisfying a course requirement, right? So it's, in some respects, it is coursework, but it's like I said at the very first, the very first video, I said this is you're transitioning from coursework to scholarship, right? So, the Part A is the major kind of thing, gate you have to go through. And so the lit review, by doing that, by setting, you're setting yourself up for success in doing the lit review, because that is the bulk of the Part A, right? Right. So when you do the Part A, it's you hand in your lit review on Friday. I go, oh, okay, and this, I see improvement along the way, and I noticed that, here's the things that you've added, the things you've tweaked a bit. And I'm like, oh, and you've done the edits and it's all formatted. And I'm like really happy about that. But then it's you're on to the Part A. So you kind of give me this lit review, and I'm happy. And then you take your lit review, and then you make sure that you've covered all the criteria, the 5 criteria in the guide. And you've already covered the 5th one, which is writing, because you've already done the lit review. So the Part A is designed to show that you've got focus. And if you notice in the first criteria, they ask about sort of like What's the coverage? What's the problem that you want to attend to? What's the problem that the lit review kind of addresses? And so that's and so it shows. Like I said, it shows the fact that you've got a focus, and that you and what did I say are the two major kind of characteristics or qualities that you need to have to finish a doctorate? Anybody remember? Raise your hand. Writing and persistence. So they want to see that you can write. So the Part A shows them, part of my raison d'etre this semester has been to help you improve your writing and, make edits and say, explain this, explain that, get rid of this, move this around, whatever, all those little things that I said that probably annoy the hell out of you. But yeah, they want to see that you can write and you have a focus, and that by doing the Part A, you are going to persist to the crowning achievement. Okay, when you're hooded and you're walking down the aisle and you're shaking hands with the chancellor and the dean and the president, and you're getting your diploma and all that kind of stuff. So so that's a good way of thinking about it, because that's why you have to do a Part A. It's accountability, and it's to show that you can write and you've got some focus, and that you've got some ideas about what you want to study. Okay, so that's it's everything is designed for a reason in this program. I think I've talked about that before as well. It's really the lit review is kind of a practice, okay, kind of a practice Part A, because the elements, the things, what you do in the Part A is going to translate into the what you do in the lit review is going to translate into the Part A, right? Just then when you go through the lit review for the Part A, you make sure that you're covering all the criteria, right? And I think when you talk to your chair and your academic advisor, that they'll pretty much tell you the same thing. And that's, kind of what I've gleaned from my conversations with my colleagues about the Part A. Because certainly, and the reason why I wanted you to talk to them is because they are the pros. They're the go-to people who've been doing this for a long time, and they know a heck of a lot more about it than I do. I mean, I can kind of figure things out. I read the criteria and go, oh, I think it means this, and I think it means that. But to me, they're relatively ambiguous. In some respects, they're ambiguous, so they're subject to interpretation. So I hope I interpreted them correctly, but that's why I wanted you to go to your chairs and your advisors, because they already know they know exactly what everything means, and they know exactly what to do and how to do it. And there you go. So there's a lot of things that when you enter a doctoral program that they don't tell you. They don't tell you, they say, okay, you got to do all these things, but they don't tell you why you got to do all these things. So hopefully along the way this semester, I've kind of given you some insight into the sort of faculty thinking, how faculty think about these kinds of things, and the whys behind them. Remember, in your writing, I've said, don't just tell me what it is or how something happens, but tell me why it happens and why it doesn't happen, for that matter. So, you don't really get all the insights, and you kind of just shuffle along, and you're like doing this and working on this and handing this in and that in, and meeting your obligations and fulfilling your responsibilities. But oftentimes you don't know why you're doing it. So the lit review is designed for you to kind of practice a Part A. And so when you get to the Part A, which is the main thing, the main outcome of this lit review course, when you get to the Part A, you're like, boom, 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 20 points easy. I mean, 20 points is the minimum score you have to get, but you're going to get over that bar. You're going to leap over that bar. You're going to be like hundreds of feet over that bar. So there you go. So that's the reason why. And then once you have your Part A, which shows focus, it shows your ability to write, shows you can, in some respects follow directions because, you can meet criteria. Then it's on to the dissertation proposal, right? Right. So, and I've always said that out of the lit review comes the objectives of your study, which then begs questions, research questions that you are dying to answer, and then hypotheses you might want to test, and then your methods follow after that, right? You choose your methods based on, you don't have an a priori, you don't have you're not thinking about, I'm going to do a qualitative study before you have your questions. Okay, that's just the way it's done. It's done organically. Okay, you don't choose the method and then fit the questions to them. You have the questions and you fit the methods to the questions. Okay, and that's why in the very beginning I said, don't focus on the study. Don't focus on the study. Don't focus on your study. Don't focus on your study. Because I wanted you to focus on the literature. If you get too far ahead of yourself, you're thinking about methods before you even have the background information, and then and the kind of the objective of your study and the questions that come out of it. So first things first, we always say, do we not? I think we do say that. So that being said, I think and this is a reflection piece. I'm reflecting on, I don't want to go on ad nauseum, but I do want to reflect a little bit about the semester. And, and to tell you that I've really enjoyed working with each and every one of you. And it's, it really is, for me, it's a privilege to be able to kind of guide you along the way and nurture your writing and nurturing your thinking about these important theoretical constructs, and about how to put things together, and how to really clarify your thinking. So I really have enjoyed it. I don't always enjoy, to be honest with you, I don't always enjoy editing drafts, but as part and parcel. And I said early on, this is a feedback course, not a lecture course. And I really hope that the feedback that I provided, as terse as it might have been at times, I hope that it's, stood you well. I hope you learned something from that, and how to, what the expectation is, what the standard is, how to do things a little bit better. And, if that's the outcome, then that's, then I've done my job, and I'm, there you go. And so I certainly do appreciate working with each and every one of you. And I do hope that I will get to work with you down the road a piece. I don't know what that will look like, but to be clear, I am certainly available if you have questions, you have concerns. I mean, after this course is done and you've got your grades and what have you, grades, as we all know, I don't think too much about grades, but be that as it may, once the course is in the can, the paper's in, and you're moving on to the next, you're moving on to your part A, or you're moving on to a study, or you're moving on, whatever you're moving on to. Okay. I just want to let you know that I'm certainly available as a resource, and to work with you in any way, you see fit. So I don't want the relationships that we built over some, this semester and then prior semesters, I don't want those to just go fallow. I want them to continue. So if you feel that way, certainly reach out and take it from there. And one of the things that I thought was pretty good about this course were the resources. Okay, I think our there it is again. We had just put the damn book down. Sheldon, God, it's making us nuts. This really is the go-to, and I like it. Like I said, I've got my handy dandy, easy reference one that I keep right by my side at all times. Maybe I should keep it under my pillow. Who knows? But you live and die by the manual. Okay, so it is a good resource. It's chock full of great information. And when you have a question, you just go to the index and you find what you're looking for, and there you go. And it tells you what to do. It's like one of these things you don't need to read from cover to cover. It's just when you have questions about formatting, about, how do I create a table? How do I, cite this or that? How do I use a block quote? What have you? It's right here at your disposal. Let's see. Oh, let's say this is not. I'm sorry, that's not for you. That's a research book. Okay, not that. Strunk and White, our little friend Strunk and White. I hope you read this. I think one of the things that I should have done, and I'm trying, try again. You're trying to balance. I'm trying to balance your work, because you're all busy people, and you're at the work life academic balance, which is not always easy to do. And I try to be sensitive to that along the way. Okay. So the right readings I suggested readings. I might have, should have, could have, would have, didn't make them mandatory readings. I think if you didn't read Strunk and White from cover to cover, or you didn't read everything in our friend Ridley, which I think is like, of all the texts about doing lit reviews that I looked through, even though she is British, then a lot of you are overseas, so there's kind of that kind of thing going on. I think this was by far the best text for conducting a lit review. And I hope that you feel like, now that you have them, that, they're part of your professional library, the things that you want to keep. And, if at some point maybe pass down to somebody who, the lit review came, the lit review went. Now you're going to likely do other lit reviews in your career. So certainly, hey, you could hang on to that. But if you wanted to pass it along to somebody, that would certainly be appropriate too. So anyway, so I might have made those suggested readings more obligatory. You live, you learn, and everything is a learning experience, even for me, right? The other thing I was thinking about, and you always do sort of, when you do something, and I hope, and I'm sure that you all do this, but you teach a course, or you're principaling, or you're heading a school, you're always sort of in this meta-analytic state of mind, where you're always thinking about the things that you've done, the decisions you make, and you wonder whether they're the right decisions, whether your plan, the way you organize things, whether that was the best way to do things, what have you, the implementation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So a couple of things that I would, and I said this before, I don't like this asynchronous, format, because I don't have one-on-one time, except for our mandatory one-on-ones. I didn't really get a lot of one-on-one time with you. I didn't get to, see you as a class. I can't, when I'm in a classroom, we can talk things through and have a real learning community and learn from each other. And that's hard to do in this format, and I don't like it. Okay. But because it is what we had available to us, I think we made the best of it. And so that being said, with video, my little weekly video chat, which I hope you found them valuable in some way. Okay. So our videos and the readings and in our one-on-one meetings, I thought, in the resources, I thought all those were pretty good. And I would certainly, if I had to do this again, if I was going to do this again, I would do it. I'd have the same resources, the same one-on-one meetings, et cetera, et cetera. The one thing I would have changed is that instead of having, you turned okay, so we did some resources, and then you did your outline, okay, and then you had another week, 2 weeks, and then you had your first draft, and then there between this first draft and the second draft, I think there's way too much time. And we did have a one-on-one meeting in between, and there you shared with me things, and I gave you feedback and things like that. But I think what I should have done, and you may feel the same way or you may feel different, I don't know, but it's like every 2 weeks turning something in, just so I could do. It's 5 weeks is a little bit too much time of a time lag. I think maybe at least one more intermediary kind of turn in, draft would have been good. um, so yeah, I probably would have done that a little bit different. But as far as the resources, I think those are good. I think the one-on-ones were good. And I think, oh, the weekly, doing a weekly announcement, hopefully. I don't know if you did, but what I tried to do is I tried to make sure that you received information in using across different modalities. Okay. So there's a weekly announcement. All the course materials are in Blackboard, which I think is a really pretty cool thing. There was a discussion board in the blog. We didn't really use the discussion board of the blog, but maybe I should have pushed that a little bit more. I don't know. And so let's see, we had the video, and we had and email. So I sent you the course material every week via email. So you had different modalities, and hopefully, one of those was, that you were kind of tuned into one of those, and that's where you got course materials and course information. So yeah, so that's, and it just makes it, I think it makes it easier, hopefully makes it easier for you to, so if I say, well, didn't you get that? Well, no, I didn't get it. I didn't know where it was. Well, I sent it to you this way, you had it this way or that way. And, so I just want to make sure you have everything you need. That's why I do different multi-modality. Yeah, so as far as, I guess that's really about it. It's like I say, it's hard. I know it's hard for you because you're trying to balance. It's that work-life academic balance. It is not easy, and I've tried to be sensitive to that. And hopefully you feel that, and I hope that you felt supported throughout this entirety of this semester. That, that your needs were addressed in a timely manner. I tried as soon as I saw an email, I tried to respond right away. It might have been a few hours, but at least the same day. So I hope you felt supported. I hope you felt that resources you had, including, and I forgot to mention this, including the exemplar lit reviews, which I thought were really fantastic. And like I said, part of this, you're starting your kind of a solo academic journey. Now you're certainly going to have support throughout the rest of your journey. You're not just floating, flapping out there in the breeze. You've got support. You got people who care about you and who want to see you do well. So those are your go-to resources, right? But I also wanted to kind of give you a lot of resources for working on your own. Okay, so the exemplar, those exemplars were there as a model for you to follow. Ridley talked about it. The APA manual talks about it. So you have these great resources. Strunk and White reminds you of all the little details you need to attend to grammatically and semantically and punctuation wise. So you had resources, and I hope you felt like you had personal support throughout this semester. And I hope you feel like you have continued support beyond this semester. Okay. So all that being said, make sure you do your course evaluations as a personal favor to me. Okay. Do course evaluations. Get your lit reviews in on Friday. by 6 p.m. Pacific time. And I hope you, like I said, I hope you had I had a great semester. I really enjoyed working with you. I look forward to working with you again in the future, hopefully. And this is a lit review is a different kind of animal than just an essay or a semester long project or paper. I mean, it is a semester long project for sure, but be that as it may, it's a really different animal. And I said, the reason why you do the lit review is to get you prepared for the part A. Okay. Prepare you and to keep your make sure you're focused, make sure you're accountable, and to make sure that you're thinking about a potential study is actually backed up, okay, verified by the literature that you reviewed. Simple as that. As simple as that and as complex as that. So anyway, this is my last video chat of the semester. There's no PowerPoint this week, and this is coming to you on Wednesday. That's pretty much because I was doing all kinds of, still reviewing some lit reviews and whatnots, and tying up some loose ends and talking to colleagues. And so anyway, yeah, so this is it. This is the end of the semester. And again, it was great working with you, and I hope you learned a lot. Okay. I've learned not only about the process, about scholarship, about writing, but about yourself as well. And this is as important as it is in terms of a scholarly exploration. It's also a personal exploration as well. So, you put those two things together, and you really got something. All right, listen, we'll have a great rest of your semester, which is only about 2 more days. But do enjoy some time off, and take some time off before you get into the part A, and just kind of decompress, and then revisit the part A. Revisit your lit review, and then attend to the part A. Get it in by January 6th, and you're on your way. Okay, so again, it was great working with you, and I will hopefully, if anytime you want to chat, just let me know. Okay. All right. Take care, everyone. And as always, my best to you and yours, and a happy holiday season. Okay. Ciao. Ciao.